Let's face it, this Halloween special of the season was great. In fact, I was sort of more surprised of this one than the last one they did. Not it, sort of a period of it that was good, but never feel they went full potential. This part 2 of the Halloween special of The Simpsons was great. I feel they got the ideas just right. The parody is just perfect. Of course, this is your first time on my channel. My name is Retro. I usually talk about animations. Now let's get started. Now the first short is basically about the Babadook. I'm 100% sure some of you really don't know what is the Babadook, especially if you're not a horror fan. If you're a horror fan, you automatically know who that is. If you don't, I think the short does a good well explaining what's the Babadook. But to compare in contrast, the original story of Babadook is basically a creature who lived in a closet, who gives you a book without you knowing. But the original story basically followed like a parent and one child. This sort of mother found this book called the Babadook on her son's sort of library and trying to understand who gave you this book, where it come from. Like the original short, they parody perfectly. But the very important of the movie that basically Babadook warns you have to finish the book. And that the original movie, the mother sort of ignores it. Later on, she becoming the Babadook because in the book explains, if you disrespect me, I would possess you and kill all your family. And the mother of that movie didn't understand that and didn't finish to the last second, realizing what was the Babadook and trying to basically defeat it. But unfortunately, he got possessed by the Babadook and attempted to kill his own son. But there's sort of a twist ending that's sort of a happy ending, but sort of a metaphorical way. You have to sort of see it because you have to reinterpret your own basically point of view. But this is the interesting part. The Babadook is so interesting because the gay community adopt the Babadook as a gay icon. The reason is it's sort of how you interpreted the Babadook, because the movie is good. It's not very abstract, but how you read the ending and try to understand what's trying to say, that you can't say, yeah, it's sort of a gay coming out as the Babadook, or you like interpret that the mother is sort of gay, trying to understand who she is. It also kind of getting peace with her because her husband passed away. Once again, that sort of explanation, if some of you are sort of confused trying to find information about Babadook, at least you sort of understand why the gay people adopted Babadook as a gay icon. It's almost you have to see the movie and interpret it in your own way. But once again, that's something very unique about the Babadook. Now, how they interpret in the short of Maggie and Marge, my opinion, it was great. They reference every little thing of best about the movie, about the child is sort of resourceful, how the child create kind of cool little weapons because he's sort of like an engineer in the movie. You love it they put that as Maggie. In fact, I feel Maggie was the perfect character to represent that character or just sort of reference that character in the movie. Yeah, I love the sort of interpretation of Marge becoming the Babadook, that she feel frustrating, and I appreciate it. The original was more not just frustrated that she didn't know what to do because her husband passed away and now had to take care of a child and she's losing control. In this way, sort of the Babadook sort of kind of control her, becoming the Babadook. Once again, I feel this show represented exactly the movie is perfectly, at least better than it. Oh, not It special. That's still a good spin-off of the It, but once again, it has potential, but never went that far. But anyway, let's talk about the second short, Death Note. Now, if you don't know that parody of what the Simpsons is trying to do, I kind of don't. I'd be more surprised if you never heard the Death Note. And I feel the short parodying of the Death Note of the Simpsons, feel they nailed it very well, because even the Netflix adaptation of the Death Note movie was sort of disappointing. If you want to see Death Note, I recommend the manga or the anime. Or the Japanese version of the Death Note is probably the better version if you don't want to read or watch anime. All three of them are good but on distinct way. But I love it. The Simpsons does it better than all of them because it sort of understood why Death Note is sort of special, but at the same time sort of make mockery because Death Note is sort of a serious sort of drama serial killer type of anime. What would happen if a Grim Reaper dropped in a notebook and it give you sort of rules, very simple rules. You write the person you know and their full name, and they die under 30 seconds. That's basically the rules of the original franchise of Death Note. Now, I do recommend do not watch the Netflix version of Death Note. That was sort of terrible. But I do love this short of The Simpsons that sort of parodying, even going extra mile, hiring the same company who did the anime version of Death Note. I was sort of surprised how smooth the animation and how easy to translate sort of to anime form of each character. Especially they pick Lisa as Carol, that I feel that's a good character to sort of represent the original kind of horror icon, Kira. But luckily, I'm sort of surprised they never neighbor Kira, but I think they kind of don't want to go that far. But all of that, I feel the parody nailed it, especially how Lisa didn't know this is good, this is bad when she got their own version of the Death Note. She was sort of like kind of not sure, but I love it. The whole parody follows at least the first 2 episodes, and that's it. I mean, and also that one infamous scene of Death Note, the chip scene. If you don't know what I mean. In the short, Lisa is sort of doing sort of like signing up a lot of dead people, but using her Death Note. In the original one, they have 2 good scenes. The first one is the first episode that Kira went crazy and they went sort of opera. He just killing left and right, becoming Justice, becoming Kira. And the second most infamous one is sort of he being watched by the cops, but eating chips slowly and signing the Death Note, the people he thinks he should die. But it's just sort of hammy, so over the top. They're sort of self-aware. Yeah, these ideas are crazy, but we still have fun. Yeah, I love it. They took that so well, better than the Death Note Netflix version. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering, but it's one of those that I feel they just got it, understood, especially who plays Ryuk. There was sort of the pirate one, and then the sailor character, can't remember his name. I was sort of surprised they chose him as becoming Ryuk, but once more, I feel he did the best job. It was sort of obvious LB Bart, but once more, it just sort of just makes sense. Yeah, I love it. They sort of kind of speed it up super fast, but at the same time, every single joke just and it just so great. Now, anything wrong with this short? I feel they just couldn't let the ending. I mean, it was sort of a joke after joke kind of thing, but well paced. But I don't know, the ending feels kind of a little bit off, but it wasn't disappointing. I was feeling it was landing well. In fact, let me ask this question. If you're a Death Note fan, you feel this parody landed for you, or you feel they needed more? Tell me down below, let me know. Now, the finally short was basically a parody of Westworld. Ironically, The Simpsons did a Westworld parody called, I don't remember the title, but they just follow Itchy Scratchy Theme Park. It's one of the specials they did. Was part of the best episode they ever did. Sort of kind of like a horror thing episode, but it never was a Halloween. But it's one of those episodes just so good. I always wanted sort of a sequel of that episode. Luckily for us, we did. But I think because Westworld was sort of rebooted on HBO Max, having like 3 to 4 seasons, if I'm correct. I think they got on season 5. I'm not 100% sure, but I love it. They sort of continue on, but actually treating the fans, at least the first 9 or 12 seasons, best moments, and just referencing as its own Westworld theme park about the Simpsons. In fact, they went to my favorite episode of the Marvel episode. If you're a fan of the Simpsons, you know which episode I'm talking about, because when I started watching the show, I was sort of confused. I didn't know what was going on till they started to be sort of Westworld. Basically, a bunch of idiots trying to mess with the robots till I understood what they're trying to do. But I love it. It's all the Easter egg, all the best moments and memes of The Simpsons just throw in the wall. I mean, the backbone would just feel just the best moments of The Simpsons. It's almost like a dedicated episode. I love it how Homer sort of realized he's sort of alive, realized he had to get out, realized he had to save all of his kids, except for Grandpa. I mean, it's sort of obvious why I saved Grandpa, but I don't know. After that, I love they trying to escape and figure out how to get out of this sort of theme park too. They're actually funny. They get out. They give that sort of twist that there are the theme parks, once again referencing the new reboot of the Westworld. But I love it. They went bought burgers by accident in their own theme park next to the SpongeBob. What was SpongeBob's Rick and Morty, Family Guy. I don't remember many other South Park also. All of them has their own theme park, but I love it. That sort of kind of twist surprise I wasn't predicting. To me, this was the best Halloween special they ever done. I mean, that's sort of hard because there was Treehouse of Horror 4, 5, and 6, in my opinion, are the best Halloween specials they ever did. Those three are the difficult, hard to one up, and I feel this one sort of did the best. I feel that could be as equal or beyond, or at least close to. At least they'd be number 4 in that ranking. But once again, I just appreciate it. It was so good. Each one I feel fulfilled. Even I feel sort of nitpick here and there, but each one it feels respected, understood, and well executed. Now I have one question: how you feel about all 3 shorts? How you feel this Halloween special? You think good or bad? Tell me down below. Let me know. Honestly, I got nothing else to say, just one thing: forgive me, I studied. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.